Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here with lifeonfire.com, and really fired up again, as probably always. I'm always fired up in these episodes because this is footage from our Ignite Your Movement annual event. And so I've got a dear friend who I'm going to be sharing with you, Scott Robley from InfusionSoft, and it's all about how to leverage technology in your business. So I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, I want to automate, I want to delegate, and I want to create leverage. So if you want to create leverage in your business, you want to check out this entire episode because Scott breaks it down and he shares how you can leverage technology to grow your business. Check it out. Our next speaker is Scott Robley, and he's going to be breaking down how to use technology to scale your business, to automate your business, streamline your business, and to grow. Because the thing is that when you are so passionate about what you do, and you've got such a mission and such a movement that you're on and starting and helping people, the last thing you want to be doing is getting bogged down in the technology and all the tech items and all the things that just aren't part of the DNA of a true entrepreneur, a true visionary. And so what's cool is Scott's, the company he's with is InfusionSoft. That's something that we've been using for a little over 5 years. And when I first got started, and I was in that $50,000 in debt, here's how I looked at it. I became the Facebook marketing expert. I made a couple bucks, and very quickly I said, you know what? I'm all in. I am already going to see this business on the other side. So I saw myself through that board, and I knew I was building a business that was going to be successful. And I said, I can start this thing off. I can piecemeal everything together. I can use this one, MailChimp over there, and I could use this other thing for a shopping cart. And I could basically try and stitch everything together like a quilt, or I could just start with the end in mind. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting the platform that's going to be the foundation of a 6 and then turned 7-figure business. So I got InfusionSoft, the technology, right out of the gate. It didn't matter that I was in debt. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this thing because I knew the end in mind of where I was going. And it's been a huge blessing because this thing literally runs our entire business. And so everything from email to our shopping cart, streamlining things, it keeps track of our clients, everything. So it's awesome. But Scott's here to teach. You're going to get a lot out of this. If you guys, I think everyone has, raise your hand if everyone's eaten that's so far that's sitting down, or you're still eating. Got a lot of plates and eggs. Don't break through the plates. We did that with boards, all right? Just don't smash all the plates. So super excited for you guys. And without further ado, I'd like to bring on my main man, Scott Robley. Give a big round of applause for Scott. Let's do this thing.
Goodness gracious, man. Look at all these people. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, there it is. Awesome. You ever heard someone say 90% of success is showing up? I don't believe that. Seriously? But is it important? Yeah, it's really important. I don't know if it's 90% important. I mean, otherwise we'd be super successful just for showing up. But showing up is important. It says a lot about who you are. It really does. And I really believe this. I believe like attracts like. Do you agree that like attracts like? And the reason you're here is because of Nick Unsworth. I am so excited to be part of his event. I've been sitting in the back of the room all day yesterday, watching, learning, just waiting for my turn, because this is what I love to do. And I'm so grateful to have watched Nick and see where he's at. I think he shared with you yesterday where we first met. Did he talk about stiffing me for the cab fare? Yeah, isn't that interesting, right? But I remember it because here's this young kid, right? And we happened to be at the airport together, and we saw that we're both going to the same event. And I said, let's just share a cab. And as we got to the hotel, I looked at him and I think, man, it would be wrong for me to have this kid pay for my cab fare. And now this kid is putting on events, and I'm coming to sponsor and support him. It's exciting to be part of that. I want to start off this morning kind of sharing with you my story, because I really feel like it really ties into what we've been talking about all day yesterday about ignites and kind of living a life on fire, those points of decision, points of choice. I'm an educator by trade. Okay, I spent 20 years as a teacher and administrator. I grew up in Kenai, Alaska. Anybody been to Alaska? Anybody got it on your bucket list to go to Alaska? It should be, absolutely be on everyone's bucket list. And growing up as a kid, I've always wanted to be a motivational speaker. Whenever else wanted to be doctors, lawyers, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. But I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and how do you do that? How do you just become a motivational speaker? And so I knew I had a gift. I knew I could speak. I knew I could teach. And so in some ways, I feel like I settled because I didn't know how to become a motivational speaker, so I became a teacher. And I got my degree in education, my master's in education, and I taught for 20 years. And I got to this point in my career about 5 years ago that I really loved what I was doing and very good at what I was doing. But I had this moment that maybe you can relate to where it's like when you want to go out to eat, okay? And you say to your friend or your spouse or significant other, where do you want to go? And they say, I don't know, where do you want to go? And you're like, I don't know, where do you want to go? And you go back and forth until you finally settle on a place to go. And you eat, and it's good, and you're full, but you walk out going what? That's not what I wanted. You ever have that experience? That's where I was in my career. I am grateful that I've never once had a day in my entire life where I got up and didn't want to go to work. I loved what I was doing, but I just was at this point where I just knew there was something more for me to do. How many of you ever felt that way? And that's why you're here, right? That's why you're attracted to someone like Nick Unsworth and living a life on fire. And so I began searching, looking for opportunities, but I wasn't just going to use my talent for anything. And some opportunities would come, and I would kind of pass on them. And then I had a really good friend of mine who I taught with for a few years, who then he felt the same way, left teaching, started doing some stuff on his own, but he actually grew up in Mesa, Arizona. And as he began looking for some different opportunities, it just so happens that he dated in high school one of the CEO and one of the founders of InfusionSoft. Okay? He dated his wife and actually broke up with her. Kind of a crazy story. Won't share that part of it. And his wife actually grew up and was very good friends with the other founder and his family. And so they kind of got introduced to InfusionSoft, and he started doing what I'm doing right now. He started traveling the world, speaking to entrepreneurs, teaching them all about how to automate and how to run their business. And he and I were doing a kind of a youth speaking opportunity one summer, and he's just living a life on fire. And he's all excited, and he's telling me about what he's doing. And I said, man, if ever an opportunity, this sounds like something I'd be interested in. And he says, yeah, you should go check it out. And so I did. I went online and I looked up InfusionSoft, and I started seeing all the cool things that they were doing. I started looking at their culture, their values, and it just started to resonate. It just kind of was in alignment. When for nearly 20 years as a teacher, I was helping students be successful, and all of a sudden I come across a company whose mission, their purpose, was to help small businesses succeed. And it just aligned with who I was all about. I'm like, this is it. I want an opportunity like this. Well, fast forward about a month and a half, and we're now about a week before school starts. I am the principal of a small startup charter school, and about a week before it starts, I get a call from my buddy saying, hey, InfusionSoft is hiring. Can I give him your name? A week before school starts. I'm like, sure, give him my name. And anyway, long story short, I had this little interview process, long distance. I was living in Utah at the time, kind of back and forth to Arizona. 2 days into school start. I'm now 2 days into the school year, and they say, we'd like you to come down to Arizona. Can you come down on Thursday? It's Tuesday. So I had an intern that I had cover for. I had a family thing I had to be at. And so I went down to Arizona, had my interview. And I remember after my interview with a bunch of different people on the team, the director who was in charge of the hiring, he said, Scott, there's a lot of people. I got to interview some more people I'm looking at. I said, not a problem. Just let me know. We parted ways in the parking lot. I'm getting in my car. He's over about 5 cars over, and he stops. He says, Scott, tell your wife it's yours if you want it. This was a Thursday. He says, but I need an answer by Saturday. Went back to my family, talked it over with my wife and my children. We felt like this was the right thing to do. Hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life was to sit down with my administrators 2 weeks into school and say, I'm resigning. And I walked away from a 20-year career in education. And people always ask me, why? Why would you give up a career in education to work for a software company? Well, how many of you have heard of Simon Sinek? If you haven't read his book, Start With Why. It's a great book to read. Simon Sinek says this. He says, very few people or companies can clearly articulate why they do what they do. By why, I mean your purpose, cause, or belief. Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every morning, and why should anyone care? And then he taught this powerful principle. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. How many of you believe that? Raise your hand if you believe that. They don't buy what you do. They buy why you do. Otherwise, they just buy it from somebody else. One of the things I've learned in 3 years of InfusionSoft and traveling the world and rubbing shoulders with entrepreneurs is that successful business owners know their why. They are crystal clear about why they do what they do. And I had this epiphany yesterday as I was listening to Nick and watching. We learned yesterday that the majority of you like to dance. And here's the thing that hit me, is that dancing is what you do and how you do it. Now, I want you to think about, have you ever tried to dance without music? Have you ever tried to watch somebody else dancing without music? Have you ever pulled up next to somebody in a car and you look over and they're in their car just singing at the top of their lungs, and because of the windows you can't hear anything and you're going, that guy looks weird. How many of you have been that weird person before, right? And it hit me that what you do is the dancing. And you're out there to teach other people how to dance. And what you do is the process. That's the dancing part. But what's important is, and the goal is to help them feel the music. That's what marketing is about. The music is your why. And if you're trying to get people to dance without the music, you're going to struggle. So I'd like for you to feel the music of what InfusionSoft really is all about. When people say, why do you do what I do? It's simple, right? We at InfusionSoft, we help small businesses succeed. How many of you are interested in helping us reimagine the future, period? Isn't that why you're here? But what's interesting is I had to within the why of InfusionSoft, I had to find my own why. I had to find my own music, if you will. And over the past 3 years, as I've been all around sharing the InfusionSoft message, helping small businesses succeed, I had to come up with why do I do what I do within their why? Does that make sense? My own music. I love their music, but I have to have my own music. And I love this quote from Richard Branson. He says, I don't think of work as work and play as play. It's all living. How many of you have heard that quote before? And it hit me. That's my music. That's my why. Why do I leave my family? Why do I do what I do? Is because here's what I do. I help entrepreneurs live. That's what I do. And I'm here to help you live. I'm help you to take the Ignite movement, to live a life of fire. That's why we work so well together with Nick. You see the alignment, right? And so when I think about what I'm here to do, you know, my wife and I have been blessed with 3 amazing children and another one. Yeah, they rotate who the other one is, by the way. It's like a tag team. No, we have 4 boys. I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Yeah, you notice the gap, right? We like to call him accidentally on purpose, right? My wife thinks God hates her. She does have 6 brothers. She might have a point. I always assure her that he does not hate her. He just loves me more. I do. I love my boys. And whenever people find out that my wife has 4 sons and 6 brothers, they always say, oh, then she's used to it. And I always say, well, there's a fine line between used to it and sick of it. And that's a line that she straddles quite a bit. And I think about lines that we straddle as entrepreneurs. And there is a fine line between being challenged and being successful. Just like there's a fine line between surviving and thriving. And how many of you feel that fine line, right? And it's a very fine line between really being challenged in your business and being truly successful. And we're here to help you kind of, how do you deal with that fine line? How do we help you be more successful? How do we help you thrive and not just survive? How many of you ever said this or thought this as a parent, as an individual, as an entrepreneur? I mean, matter of fact, if I say, if you want something done right, yeah, we know. Dude, that's why we're here. Isn't that why we became entrepreneurs? But I want to change your mindset a little bit. Building upon what we did yesterday, I'd like to change the way you think. If you want something done right, don't do it yourself. If you want something done right, build a process. If you want something done right, build a process. The process that we teach at InfusionSoft is called lifecycle marketing. And if we can pass out the handouts that I have for them, I want to take just a few minutes this morning, not a whole lot of time, but I want to introduce you to lifecycle marketing. It's 3 phases: attract, sell, wow. Say it with me. Attract, sell, wow. Okay, this time like you mean it. Attract, sell, wow. That's really it. Right? That's the mastermind. That's the process. If you can understand attract, sell, wow, then you can be successful in your business. Now, what I want to do with you this morning, just really briefly, this is the teacher in me. I've given you a handout. This handout is to help you grade yourself. Yes, that's the teacher in me. As I talk about each of these areas really briefly, I want you to be very honest and ask yourself, how am I doing in each of these 3 areas? And I want you to be able to give yourself an honest grade. Now, you need to understand something about my philosophy of education, my philosophy of assessment. One of the biggest challenges as a teacher is we have to give grades. We have to do assessment. But understand from my perspective why you do so. As business owners, you should be assessing yourself, grading yourself nonstop. But this is what you have to understand. The grade does not define you. The purpose of the grade is to refine you. Let me say that again. The grade's not to define you. So if you say, man, I've got a C in this, or a D in this, or even an A in this, that's not to define you, but it's to refine you. To find out, where can I be better? Where do I put my efforts? One of the biggest challenges as business owners is, where do I start? Where do I put my emphasis? Where do I put my focus? That's what grading does for you. It gives you a starting point. It lets you know where you need to give attention. So as we go through really quickly these 3 phases, I want you to think about, where am I at and how am I doing? So when we talk about the first phase is, we call it the attract phase. And there are 3 components. There is knowing your target audience, attracting interest, and collecting leads. Now, we won't spend a lot of time, but how important is it to know your target audience? Very important. People will say all the time, well, I'm for everyone. Well, if you're for everyone, then you are for no one. And I'm not just talking about their demographics, I'm talking about their psychographics. What keeps them up at night? What are their pains? What are their needs? You've got to be crystal clear, because if I know who they are, then I can better serve them. If I know their needs and their pains, I can create products and services that meet those pains and needs. I can market to them. I can attract the right people. So number 1, know who your target audience is. Once I'm crystal clear and know who they are, now I've got to do something to get their attention, because whether you know this or not, guess what? They do not wake up in the morning looking for you. Sorry, they don't. They don't wake up in the morning looking for you. They wake up with pain. They wake up with problems, and they need solutions. And it's a very busy and a very loud world, and so you've got to get their attention. You've got to do something that says, hey, look at me. And so you've got to give. You've got to serve. Friends, we live in a giving economy. If you want to out-earn your competitors, you have to outgive them. You have to outserve them. You have to give value. You have to help people not just know you're not just trying to teach them what to dance. You've got to help them feel the music. Your music. That's how you attract the right people. Because we all like different kinds of music. And I love the analogy, because music is pretty personal. You attack someone's music, you've attacked their very soul. Right? I've said things, that's why I've raised my kids right. They listen to 80s music, right? They're right. They've nailed it, right? And what happens is, that's what marketing is. That's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to play the right music so it attracts the right people. So you got to give them something. We call it a lead magnet. Some people call it an ethical bribe, right? You're giving them something of great value, because what do you want in return? I need info. I need your name and your email so I can market, so I can educate, so I can nurture. And so please make sure, I want you to write this down. Have a lead capture process for all customer interactions. Let me say this again. Have a lead capture process for all customer interactions. And what percentage is all? It's 100%. So think about, how do I interact with customers? If I interact with them on my website, I better have a way to capture leads on my website. If I'm at a network, if I go to networking events, then I better have a way to capture information from a networking event. If I like to use Facebook, then I better have a lead capture process for Facebook. However I interact with my customers, I need to have a lead capture process for all those interactions. So quickly, give yourself a grade. How you doing? at knowing your target audience, offering them things of great value so they give you things in return? How are you doing at collecting leads? How are you doing at building your list? Because, friends, I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if you're online, offline, products, services. We're all in the people business. Because without people, you have no business. Right? And so it's about building. This is that important part. What am I doing to build the list? Well, now that I've got their information, are they going to be ready to buy from me? Some, but not most. Bless you. So now I get into the sell phase. 3 components: educate, offer, and close. Which do you think is the most important? It's education. It's nurturing. It's adding value. This is the sharing the music part, helping them feel the music. And the more you educate, the more you nurture, the more you add value, guess what? It becomes very natural to extend the offer. One of the greatest challenges I've seen with entrepreneurs is they're afraid to make an offer. You are so giving, you're so passionate to make a difference in the world that you're afraid to ask somebody to pay you money for what you do. I will not ask you to raise your hands if you're that way, because we kind of all are. Can I tell you 2 simple things you need that make extend an offer piece of cake? Can I share that with you? Would anybody be interested in knowing 2 things? All you need is 2 things, and it's almost offensive if you don't extend the offer. Would you like to know what those 2 things are? Yes. Relevancy and permission. If you're relevant to what they need and they give you permission. And what is education? Every time you educate, every time you offer something and they consume it or take it, what are they doing? They're giving you permission. And if you're relevant and they're giving you permission, friends, it is offensive if you don't extend an offer. If you don't say, I want to help you. And then closing the deal becomes cake. We talk all the time about conversions and those kind of things. I'm not just talking about transactions. I'm talking about building relationships. So give yourself a grade. How are you doing? How are you doing at educating, adding value, nurturing, preparing them for the offer and to close the deal? Well, once you've closed the deal, now you get to get into the realm that you love to do. You get to wow them. Again, 3 components: deliver and wow, offer more, and get referrals. Now, the deliver and wow should be easy. Friends, you've got to be unique. You've got to stand out. You've got to be different to make a difference. So what are you doing to wow your customers? Have you ever been wowed before? Have you ever had someone provide service or have a product that just wowed you? Yeah, I stay at a lot of hotels, obviously. One of my favorite hotels is the DoubleTree Hotel. Anybody stayed at a DoubleTree Hotel? Anybody take a wild guess why I love the DoubleTree Hotel? Man, when I check in that warm chocolate chip cookie, wow. Man, sometimes when I go to a DoubleTree, I leave 1 bag in the car. Check in, they gave me a cookie, take it up, go get my other. Oh, cookie, sure, I'll take one. Friends, what's your cookie? Write that down. What's my cookie? What am I offering that makes me stand out, that makes me different, that will wow them? It doesn't have to be anything super expensive. It can be, it's a cookie. And wow, I would rather stay there than a hotel right next door. Why? Because they give me a cookie. Costs them $0.25, you know? Who knows what it costs them? But what is your cookie? Now, typically then once we've wowed them, we feel like I've done my job. No. It's now it's game on. Because now I've got to make sure I offer more. They've already liked what I've given them. I got to give them more. I call it the Little Caesars principle. I've got 4 sons. How often do you think we eat at Little Caesars? You kidding me? $5 pizza? I mean, I can't make food that cheap. And I have the same order. Everywhere I go, give me 2 pepperonis and a cheese. And I don't care who's behind the counter, what store it is, what gender, how old, they always say, would you like crazy bread with that? And I say, yes. And then they say, would you like a second for only 99 cents? No. But I'm on to them. I know the little game. So then I say, can I have a third for only 99 cents? And they say, yes. What's your crazy bread? What else do you have to offer? No one gets this principle better than the fast food industry, right? I mean, you got to think about the cross-sell. Would you like fries with that? What do you have that's complementary, that goes along with your products or services that you can also sell? And sometimes it doesn't have to be yours. Maybe it can be something you're working with an affiliate partnership, a joint venture where you can offer them something and you get a piece of it, right? What are your fries? And then also, what about the supersize? Would you like to supersize that? Can you take what you already have and make it a little bit bigger? If you provide a service, can you add it a platinum package? And all you're doing is giving them a little bit more and charging them more. It's increasing the value. And then it doesn't have to have anything to relate at all. I call that the Amazon principle. I hate Amazon. If I go on Amazon, it's convenient, and I go on Amazon, let's say I want to buy my wife a scarf. So I click on the scarf, I get this shopping cart, and down at the bottom it says, other people that have bought this scarf have also bought a chainsaw. Well, geez, I guess if other people have done it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it doesn't even have to relate at all. Just offer them something more. So think about what ways you can offer more. And then, and most important, when I travel around and I talk to entrepreneurs and I say, what is the number one way you get new customers? Without fail, it's always what? Referrals. And yet it's all accidental, right? You just hope that if you wow, if you deliver in sales, they will tell their family. They will tell their friends. Do they always do so? No. So we've developed a pretty advanced strategy I'd like to share with you that works. Would you like me to share it with you? I will only share with you, promise to use it. Say, I promise. No, like you mean it. Okay, here it is. Ask. There it is. Pretty advanced. It's a pretty advanced strategy, okay? Ask. Always ask. If you're delivering satisfying and they're happy, ask for it. So give yourself another grade. How are you doing at delivering satisfying? Are you wowing them? Are you offering more? Are you very systematic and not, occasional and accidental in your seeking referrals? Now, when you take a look at your grades, I'm going to just assume that you're a typical entrepreneur and you've got places to improve, right? And so here's what I've got for you. I want to help you. So we have created a small business sales and marketing scorecard. Now, this is what we're going to do. You'll see inside the handout that I've given you, there should be a little form. Now, if you fill this form out, matter of fact, right now, I want you to fill this form out because this is what I'm going to do for you. If you fill this form out, we're going to collect them. Here's what I'm going to give you, okay? I'm going to send you a link that's going to give you a scorecard that's going to help you with your grading process because sometimes it's hard to grade ourselves. Usually, the women are harder on themselves. And the women say things, I'm terrible, I don't do an F. And guys are like, yeah, I'm pretty good, A+, right? And so I want to help you be real accurate in your assessment so you can know where to improve, because remember, it's not to define, but to refine. So we're going to send you a link that, number one, is going to grade your website. Bless you. You're going to enter your website right into a form, and we're going to grade it. We're going to tell you how you're doing at attracting and collecting leads. We're also going to give you a series of questions and ask you about the other phases of attract, sell, and wow, and we're going to give you a grade in each of those areas. And then here's the best part. Based upon your score, we're going to send you some real juicy marketing tips based upon what you need. Would that be helpful? Would it be helpful that if you had a lower grade in deliverance sales, we're going to send you some tips to help you in that area. If you're weaker in the attract, we're going to send you some help there. Would anybody benefit from having a good assessment of where they're at in their business and then receive some tips to help them? That's what I've created for you. Okay, and so if you fill this out, and we'll just make it really simple. On this side, you're going to pass it once you fill them out, pass it to this way. And you pass them to here, and then over here, you're going to pass them. Once you fill out, pass them this way, and you guys pass it to the end, and we'll have our team come and collect it. Is that okay? All right. So now we've talked about the what. We've talked about dancing, right? We've talked about what you need to do, the dance moves. I want to kind of build into a little bit more of the music and how we share that. Now, first, I have learned over my time of working with InfusionSoft that entrepreneurial success is based upon the strongest geometric shape that there is, which is the triangle. There are three things that every entrepreneur needs to be successful. Number one, the very top of the triangle is a mentor. It's a coach. I don't care where, isn't that what Nick was said yesterday? All right, no matter where you are in your business, you always need someone that's what? A little bit further, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, then guess what? The room's not big enough or you're in the wrong room, okay? You always need someone else. You need a mentor, you need a coach. You also need a community. How many of you felt the power of a community? Just being here for not even a full day and a half, or maybe we're starting day 2, and you already feel the power of a community. But there's a third thing that you need, and that is a system. You need a system. And what I've come to realize is that if you have a process, but you don't have a system, guess what you have? You have chaos. Anybody feeling chaos in their business? Right? I've got all these things, but I don't have the right system. So yes, we call lifecycle marketing the process. But InfusionSoft becomes the system. It's what drives the process. Now, if you didn't know, InfusionSoft is an all-in-one sales and marketing software that has been specifically designed for you. It was built by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Yes, we are an over 600 employee company. Yes, we've received our second series of funding to the tune of another $59 million. Yes, we've been on Inc. 500 for the last 8 consecutive years in a row. But we started with 2 brothers and a buddy in a rented strip mall location. We know what it's like. We've been where you've been. And we understand that one of the greatest pains of entrepreneurship is what we call multi-system madness. Nick was talking about it, piecemealing, patchworking like a quilt. And so we've overcome that by putting it all in one. We are a CRM. And by CRM, we mean what? What does CRM stand for? Customer Relation Management. It's your database. We're also a marketing component, and we're the shopping cart. How many of you sell products and services online? Let me see you by show of hands. Excellent. And imagine having that all tied together. And as cool as that is, as awesome it is to have it all streamlined into one, that's not the secret sauce. That's not even the best part. The best part is at the heart of InfusionSoft is an automated component that makes all of it happen automatically. Someone once said, Scott, it's like InfusionSoft is the engine that drives my business. And I like the analogy, so let's imagine your business is a Camaro. Would it be anybody interested in having their business be a Camaro? Okay. And at the heart of that Camaro is InfusionSoft. We become the engine that drives the business. But because I believe success is not a destination but a journey. Let me say that again. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. And because you're here, it tells me you're in for the long haul. And it's going to be a long journey. So if you're driving a car, you're behind the wheel of this Camaro. And you're driving this Camaro on a long journey, what are you going to want to do with that Camaro? You want to go as fast as you can, probably. But you're also going to do what? Put it on cruise control. How many of you put it on cruise control when you drive long distance, right? That's what we do. We help you put it on cruise control. Entrepreneur Magazine said, in today's competitive environment, automation is not a luxury. It's a requirement for keeping a competitive edge. In fact, the benefits of automation are so numerous, you can't afford to ignore them. Frankly, 2 years ago, automation was nice, a luxury. Today, 2015, moving forward, it is no longer a luxury. You want a competitive edge, you want to be successful, you have to have automation. Automation does a lot of things for you. Let me highlight just a couple. Number one, automation will fix follow-up failure. And friends, you're all failing. Not on purpose, not because you want to. You're all determined. Everyone's determined to stay in contact with their prospects, to follow up with all their customers. We all want to, but here's the deal. We don't have time. Automation trumps determination. So the first thing automation will fix your follow-up failure. Make sure you automatically follow up with everyone that comes in, everyone that purchases. You're always going to follow up. We're also going to manage your daily processes. Anybody feel a little overwhelmed with just all the daily processes I have to do on a regular basis? Automation helps you with those. It manages them. Automation also gives you valuable information. I've once heard it said that if things aren't working, don't get mad. Get data. And data helps you know what's working, what's not working. Automation gives you that kind of information. Another thing I love is that automation speeds your success. If you were to ask yourself, where am I right now and where do I want to be, the third question is, how quickly do I want to get there? And like you're all confirming, is you want to get there as quickly as possible. Success is speed of implementation. How quickly do you implement the things you're going to learn? And automation speeds that up. But my favorite thing that automation does, the reason why I do what I do, is because automation creates time for you. It's interesting. Whenever I ask entrepreneurs, what is the number one reason why you started your own business? They always say what? Freedom, right? Isn't it ironic that what they've chosen has enslaved them? kind of crazy, right? So people say to me, Scott, what does automatic look like? Well, it's a little different for everybody, but for me it looks like this. It means I can spend time watching my son win a state championship in baseball. It means I can watch my son, who's a face-off specialist, who's just verbally committed to play lacrosse at Wagner College in New York, Staten Island, on a full-ride scholarship. It means I can spend time with the one kid who still loves me. Because I know it's going to change, right? So I want you to think about what does automation look like for you? Imagine if you could automate a lot of the process in your business, how much time could that save you? An extra 5 to 10 hours a week? 10 to 15? 15 to 20, or heavens, 20 or more? And a more important question is, what would you do with that time? See, friends, it's about having a system. And not just any system, it's about having the right system. What kind of a system? The right system. Because guess what the right system does for you? You ready for it? The right system saves yourself some time, energy, and money. That's what the right system does. So if you're like most of the people I talk to, you're now saying, okay, Scott, I get it. This is what you're supposed to do, but how? How does InfusionSoft do those things? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I'd like to answer that for you. See, the first thing InfusionSoft is going to do is we're going to help you get organized. Anybody feeling like they use a little more organization in their business? About 3 people? Anybody feel like they use a little more organization in their business? Good, I know, just eating breakfast, right? So the first thing we're going to help you get, we're going to streamline everything. Hey, you're going to open up your InfusionSoft account. We hope you don't have to open up anything else, because you're going to manage your appointments, create your to-do lists, set your reminders and tasks, streamline your workday, create notes, trigger your automatic file, all from one system. So we're going to help you organize in one solution. We're also going to provide for you that CRM. I want to talk to you about your database. Because wouldn't it be great if you could have such a detailed a place where you can have all the information housed in one location? Imagine having this kind of detail. When you pull up a contact in InfusionSoft, you don't just get their name and contact info. You see all the marketing and sales that you've done to them. You see what their order and purchase history has been, what kind of communication you've had with them, what their website activity has been. It's all there. And friends, information is what? It's power. And imagine having it all right there at your fingertips in one solution. Now, how many of you collect business cards? Raise your hand if you've collected a few business cards. This is a great place, right? And what typically happens to those business cards? Yeah, they go in my pocket. Maybe make it back to the hotel room. Maybe I leave them in the hotel room. Maybe I do make it back home, get in a drawer. Well, not anymore. Because we have Snap by InfusionSoft. If you're a current customer, raise your hand. Where are my current customers? Are you using Snap? Oh, I'm going to change your life. Are you using Snap? Oh, I'm going to change your life. You know, you're using Snap? Thank you. Thank you. The one true user. No. Let me tell you what Snap is all about. This is one of the greatest. This makes it all worth it. Just Snap itself, right? You're at an event like this, and you get a business card. You download the free app. When they give you the business card, you take a picture of that business card. That picture is sent to our team in Arizona. They enter the information for accuracy. It's sent back to you and says, you have a new contact. And now you can mark it. And we'll talk more about what you do. How cool is that? Oh, Snap, right? That's what it's all about. So if you're not, make sure you're using it. It's worth everything. So now I'm getting them in right away. In addition to that, you create web forms and landing pages in InfusionSoft. You're going to create the web form that's going to go right onto your website, and all the landing pages you're going to create right in InfusionSoft to help capture that information. As a matter of fact, if you went to Nick's website, I always love to see, I go there sometimes just to dance. I put on some music, I watch Nick, and I just dance, right? But you'll notice you can see his lead magnet right there. See, he's talking about getting this thing, and you can opt in. So every time you get there, he's doing what he should, having a lead capture process for all customer interactions. If you come to the website, you better have a lead capture. You better have something that you're offering them that's going to invite them to give you their information. Tomorrow, you hear from one of my very good friends, Suzanne Evans. She does the same thing. Here's her lead capture. Grab your free DVD. Okay, so like, great question. He says, besides a website, what would be another customer interaction? Well, you're going to talk a lot about Facebook, right? If I'm using Facebook ads and marketing, when I'm use that marketing, I may give them a link, so they're going to opt in. I'm going to say, here's my free stuff. The link will drive to a landing page. So everywhere I go, I'm going to drive them to a landing page for my free offer. So any kind of customer interaction, networking events, when they walk, if I have a store and they walk in, I'm going to, always just be driving them. Okay, good questions. Another one of my really good friends, they run an event, kind of a planning business, Linda Kane, Blue Diamond. If you look on their website, it's a little unique because they don't have the opt-in form right there on their website. You'll see there they've got this. And basically it says, here's my free offer. Click on the link, and the link then takes them to a what? A landing page, right? And so that way it can give more information. All that was created in InfusionSoft. So we have all these ways to help get you the information into the account. Once they're there, here's the best part. You want to be able to search this database for specific criteria. Why? I want to be very targeted in my marketing, right? I want to make sure that I'm being targeted. My biggest parenting mistakes have come as I've tried to treat my children how? The same. And you can't treat your customers the same. We call that tagging in InfusionSoft. You create tags. They're marketing labels. As you interact with them, you tag them. For example, you were able to help you send the right message at the right time. If I provide transportation services, and some of my people like bicycles and some people like automobiles, I tag them. That way I can sift and sort, and once I sort them, I can now send the right messages to the right people. Does that make sense? For those who want automobiles, I can send that marketing message to those who want bicycles. So basically, go back to our car analogy. Not only are we the engine, but the license plate of the car would say this. Because this is what InfusionSoft is about. Personalized, automated follow-up. Not just sending out autoresponders, not just it's personalized. You begin to send emails that they want to read because they're personalized, they're customized, not just based on who they are, but what they've done. It's behavioral marketing. In addition to that, through InfusionSoft, you're going to get the data I mentioned. So imagine you don't know how many emails were sent out, how many of those were open, how many of those bounced back, how many opted out, right? All that information is powerful. You're also going to be through InfusionSoft to do what we call lead scoring, where you're going to set up parameters to let you know when a lead is hot and ready for your conversation. So you're not wasting time with those who aren't ready. And like I mentioned, we also provide the storefront, the shopping cart, so you can sell services online, the order forms. How many of you met Ree Perez yesterday, right? Remember Ree? One of my great friends. If you go to his website, you can click on Get a Brand Audit. That will take you right to a landing page that gives you some information. Once you get the information and watch a video, you click on that and it takes you right to a what? A shopping cart, all created within InfusionSoft. And then once that shopping cart, now you can follow up with the post-purchase follow-up, right? Send the thank you email, the fulfillment email, the upsell email, all those things can then happen automatically. Frank Kern was mentioned yesterday, right? One of my favorite stories. He once made $150,000 while on vacation in Rome without access to an internet. Because it was all set up, all right? He set up and imagine come home from vacation having made $150,000. Right? Of course, that's Frank Kern. That's what he does. Now, a lot of people struggle with InfusionSoft, not InfusionSoft. It's knowing what to do with InfusionSoft. How do I use InfusionSoft? And so here's what we've done. If you go to our marketplace, inside our marketplace, you ready for this? This is exciting stuff. We have over 60 ready-to-use campaigns. 60 what? Ready-to-use campaigns. All you do is click install. They come into your application. You tweak them a little bit for your logo and make them a little personal, but they're ready to use. I mean, just highlight a couple really quickly to show you what's available. I don't have time to go through all 60. But if you wanted to increase your ability to attract, so if you take a look, here's a couple. A free report campaign. How many of you give out a free report or a free newsletter? We've got campaigns set up, ready to use. How many of you like to capture leads through free consultations? We have a free consultation. And also, we have Snap. Imagine it's already set in place. So all you do is install it, come into an event like this, and once you get a business card, snap it, and automatically the email goes, hey, it was great meeting you at Ignite Your Movement, Nick's event. I'd love for you to check out my website, and it just happens automatically. Already set up and ready to go. If you are wanting to improve your selling phase, if you want to improve there, we have some campaigns designed, like holiday promotions, or generate repeating sales, abandon cart recovery. If you sell products and services online, how often does people fill the cart and then abandon it? Well, we have a campaign already in place that you can install and use that follows up with them automatically if they don't hit the buy now. And those that are using this campaign have a 19.8% recovery rate. if you were wanting to increase in the wow department, here's a couple of, there's birthday reminders, appointment reminders. If you want to launch a partner referral program, we have all kinds of campaigns that are ready to use. We listen, we care, we're trying to do what we can to make it easier for you to implement. And so here's the deal. Can we agree that success leaves clues, right? If you watch other people that are being successful, just do what they do. We service a lot of users, and there are a lot of success stories. I want to share with you one of my favorites.
InfusionSoft has been awesome because I've been able to delegate or automate most of my job. And so now I have free time that I've never had before. And so I'm able to spend time with my family, with my wife and my son. I want to be able to have time, and I want to be able to give back to my community. And InfusionSoft is allowing me to do that in ways that I never could have dreamt possible. Select Photographics is a youth sports photography company. We take photographs of young athletes. So we have photos proudly displayed in families' houses all across the country. The real reason we purchased InfusionSoft was we needed a way to more efficiently schedule our teams. And we were scheduling 4,000 or 5,000 appointments each year. And that was a manual process. I'm ashamed to say it, but we were using Excel spreadsheets to track it all. We were bouncing from one software to the next, and it was a mess. I mean, we were using Excel spreadsheets, sticky notes, phone calls. We had ACT, we had Constant Contact. It was a total mess, to be honest with you. And so what we did was bring in InfusionSoft, and it was able to integrate all of those into one smooth system that operated like clockwork. InfusionSoft opened my eyes to the world of automation, and I didn't understand that it was possible to automate some of these things. And once we started to get a taste and a flavor for what InfusionSoft really offered, it opened up a whole new world to us. And so now we look at every aspect of our business and figure out, can we automate it, can we delegate it, or can we get rid of it? And ideally, everything falls into one of those three categories. There's very few things that I'm willing to put onto my plate as we move forward. And so that's been a complete paradigm shift for us in how we operate.
After InfusionSoft totally changed the way we do business. And it works. I can only communicate with one person. And the key is for me to make the same amount of effort and maybe to be able to communicate with 100 or maybe even 1,000 people at the same time. And through InfusionSoft, we've been able to be at those people's door at the right time to be able to make the sale.
InfusionSoft really is the hub for our entire business as far as customer service, sales, all of our marketing, all of our fulfillment is driven by InfusionSoft as well, down to our accounting. Everything goes through there. So it has brought all of our data into one place. We no longer have 6 different databases that we're working with, trying to manipulate them to get them in a usable fashion. We went down that road, and it was not fun.
It powers our business, in my opinion. It powers our production. It powers our sales. It even powers our accounting and our QuickBooks, and the whole thing. We're tied in at the hip with InfusionSoft.
InfusionSoft is for your business. If you believe that you can do better, you're right, and InfusionSoft is the tool to do it.
I love their story. And if you wanted to see a little more quantified their results of what they've done, you'll see that they grew their revenue by 21% in the first year with 2 fewer employees. They increased their leads from 200 to nearly 20,000, and they spent 15 more vacation days, and they added smiles increased exponentially. Okay, friends, InfusionSoft is used by some of the biggest names in the industry. If you want to be successful, again, you look at what the successful people are using. And if you look at that list, some really successful people are using InfusionSoft. But more than that, Not only are the biggest name, when you become an InfusionSoft customer, and you become part of the InfusionSoft family, you're not just using the same secret sauce that some of the biggest names in the industry are using, but you also join your name to a list of over 70,000 other users you haven't even heard of yet. And that number continues to grow. Here's what you get with InfusionSoft. You probably know, maybe you don't. We're a cloud-based software, right? So everywhere you have internet access, you have access to your account. So know you're going to get great stability, world-class email deliverability. We send out over 100 million emails a week with a 99.4% deliverability, so your emails and messages will get out. You get unlimited live phone and chat support. We're here to help you every step of the way. And you get all future upgrades and new releases for free, which is huge for a company that innovates and constantly improves. Which is huge for a company over the last 2 years has received $117 million in investment. And what are we using that money for? To make the product easier and easier and easier to use. As a matter of fact, recently we've announced InfusionSoft Mobile, so now you can manage your contacts and automate your marketing on the go wherever you are. Also, just this past month, we've improved our updated help center. It's interesting. I call it the dictionary effect. If you want to know how to spell a word, you have to look it up in the dictionary. But to be able to look up in the dictionary, you have to what? Know how to spell the word. It's kind of crazy, right? And the same thing kind of helps with websites, right? It's like, I need help, but I don't know what I need, right? And so we've made it much simpler to use so you can find the help that you need based upon what you need. And as was mentioned, we integrate with all kinds of programs. We're an open API, a lot of third-party applications that we integrate with. When people say, Scott, does InfusionSoft integrate with this? I always say it can. Even if it has not been created, it can, but already a lot of them have been. So here's the deal, friends. This is a smart crowd. This is a driven crowd. You all understand and all know that you need automation. There's not a single person here that's going, nah, I'd rather do it all by myself. I'll do it all manually. You all know. So my question to you is, why aren't you leveraging the power of automation in your business? And when I ask that question around the world, here's what I hear. I hear things like, I'm not ready. It's too hard. It's too expensive. I don't have time. But here's what I know. I know that automation will speed your success. I know that it allows you to work on your business and not in your business. And I know that it helps you get organized, make money, and save time. So the question I have for you is, are you ready? Are you ready to harness the power of automation? Are you ready to organize your contacts? To turn your more leads into customers? Are you ready to transform those customers into raving fans? Are you ready to make more money? Are you ready to work less, take more vacations, and spend more quality time with those that you love? I guess ultimately the question I'm asking you is, are you ready to live? And now, friends, really quickly, this is not for you if you don't have a solid product or service. If you don't have a business, this is not for you. If you don't have an online presence of some sort, if you don't have a lead strategy, a way of knowing how you're going to build those leads, and if you're not willing to work, this is not for you. Because we empower entrepreneurs. It's a software, right? You've got to do some things. So this is for you if you've got leads falling through the cracks. This is for you if you're not following up with all of your customers as you should. This is for you if you're committed to growing your business, and this is for you if you're ready to dance. If you're truly ready to live. So to make it, again, an absolute no-brainer, because some of you right now are asking the wrong question, and the wrong question is, what if this doesn't work? Friends, that's the wrong question. What's the right question? What if it does? Friends, I believe this. Now is the time. I believe life is a choice, so choose to live. I'm Scott Robley. We're InfusionSoft. We help small businesses succeed. I'll be in the back of the room. Please come see us. Take advantage of this offer. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, so here's what to do next. I want you to go to lifeonfire.com/144, and Scott Robley has a personal little message and a gift for you on our site. So just go to lifeonfire.com/144. You can catch the notes, you can catch all the resources, and also just a little gift from Scott himself. So I'll see you there.